Welcome to the Heartbreak to Happiness Show with Sara Davison. If you're struggling with a breakup and you feel shocked, angry, betrayed, devastated, or sad and alone, then this podcast is for you. Best-selling author and award-winning host Sara Davison shares how you too can get on with your life to heal, grow, and move from heartbreak to happiness. Here's your host, Sara Davison.
Welcome back to the show. And today, my guest is Mahima. Mahima is Europe's #1 self-mastery mentor, mindset trainer, international best-selling author, and award-winning speaker and founder of the Mahima Mindset. So I am super excited to welcome Mahima to the show. Welcome, Mahima.
Well, what a joy. What a joy to be here. Thank you, Sara, for creating this great opportunity for growth, for learning, for, raising our levels of love and consciousness in the world. So I'm very appreciative of you inviting me to this beautiful conversation. Thank you.
Oh, I'm super excited. It's always great to have another coach on with me to have a good chat and deep dive into lots of different topics. And I know you cover so much. So first of all, just for my listeners, to put them into the picture, tell us a little bit about you and your background, Mahima.
So I'm born in Zimbabwe. I was born in 1971 during an apartheid. Some of you might know what that is. Right, a segregation and disruption of human rights, basically, right? So my family, my grandmother, my father, my great-grandmother and great-grandfather and so forth, were dealing with those type of challenges. So, obviously, as a child growing up in that time, I also was dealing with being brought up in a world of segregation and separation and all of these things. So I believe that what happens in our childhood, whether we're conscious of it or not, affects what we then start to believe in, right? And our concepts and how we build our reality. So that's sort of like how I came into this world. Around the age of 22, I had an empowering experience through meditation. I call it an awakening. I don't really care what you feel like calling it, but my whole world flipped and I saw the world in a new way. I saw that pain, suffering, anger, blame, shame, confusion didn't need to be what I was busy with every minute of every day, right? Like I just discovered that I could feel peaceful. I could feel powerful and joyful just in my own heart. That's the power of meditation. You sit and you become still. So through this awakening, I was like, I need more. I need more meditation. And so I spent 5 years, in India, deep diving human consciousness. At the age of 27, it became abundantly clear to me that I had transformed some of my pain, some of my trauma, some of my feelings of confusion, and that I was radiating in a way that made people ask me, "What are you doing? Mahima, what are you doing?" And then I would tell them and they would be fascinated and they would get touched, and I would see that I was able to transmit some of this wisdom that I'd learned about self-love to them. And so I knew this was my calling. And so I started teaching. With 27, I started teaching meditation and supporting people to feel the power of the now using the tool of meditation. Over the last 2.5 decades, I've built a global organization called the Mahima Mindset that supports people to really work on their mindset, to understand the relationship between what they're thinking, feeling, and what they're doing. These are all connected, right? And so we help people get empowered. We help people to feel passionate, purposeful, excited, and to maintain that over time and not just, oh, it's nice, we come to your seminar and we feel great for 2 or 3 days and then we flop back down into the misery, right? So
yeah, gosh.
So that's basically in a nutshell what's been going on.
I mean, I think it's incredible because coming from the background and the upbringing that you had, I think a lot of people would understand if you carried a lot of that bitterness and resentment forward with you because, we do, carry, I always say, you may have the scars from what's happened in the past, but it doesn't have to define you. And that awakening moment, I think, is so important. And I know that a lot of my listeners right now, listening to you are going through tough breakups, traumatic breakups. They might be in the middle of it, and some of my listeners might have be out of it for a while, but still not found their feet. So I think what you're saying there about there being a link between what you think, what you feel, and what you do is so important. But at the moment where you're at that lowest step, I mean, a lot of, coming out of a breakup, you're often no confidence, low self-esteem. Trying to take your power back in those early days is a challenge, isn't it? Now, I understand you had that awakening and it gave you that clear purpose, I guess, and a vision of what you're meant to be doing and what you want more of. How do people listening have that? How do we create that for ourselves?
So that's a great, beautiful question. And it's all about tribe, community, and learning from others. As women, we have the tendency, especially when we're super vulnerable, to think that we need to do this on our own. We need to go through this by ourselves. There's nothing you can do. People say time heals. And there's just time, right? But I find like time doesn't necessarily heal anything. You might get over something, but you haven't really worked on any deeper issues of what actually happened, or what was the reason that it didn't work. And then you might just create the same thing in your next relationship, right? So I don't believe that it's just time heals. I feel like we need to take charge of healing ourselves and understanding that the most important relationship you're ever going to have in this life is the relationship with yourself.
Oh, I love that. I love it. The most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. So, so good. Absolutely.
Exactly. Because you're 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days for who knows how long, right? And so that is really the key to powerful relationships externally, is to just get that relationship with yourself locked in. And that is a process. It is a process in time. Okay, we're not going to snap our fingers and fall madly, deeply, and passionately in love with ourselves. That being said, the doorway to inner transformation is in the presence of the now. You can't heal yourself in the past. You can't heal your future because it hasn't happened. But you can here and now through understanding strategies, technologies like meditation, like self-reflection, having someone ask you powerful questions so you can reflect on yourself, understanding your energetic relationship with everything that's going on around you. So there's things you can do in the power of the now that cause transformation to start happening inside of your system. So if anyone here is feeling like you've just come out of this very messy situation and you're feeling very low, you want to be around elevated people. This is the first, very most important thing. Yeah, you don't want to hang around with other people that are in the same space as you, even though that can be helpful for women to support each other in that space. You also want to make sure you're building relationships with people that have gone through what you've gone through and they're on the other side, and they can give you all the tips and the hacks of how to rapidly move through this process. Because who wants to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 years in a process when you don't even know how much time you have in this body? Time is precious, and we need to get fast to the gold. Right,
Yeah,
Sarah?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I think you're right. Having your support team, I call it your breakup support team, specific people that can help you through is absolutely key. And having people that have been through it, have come out the other side, that can almost, even if you don't have the how right now, you have the hope. You can get through, and you have that faith. So you've got that to hold on to because you've seen other people have done it and they've come out the other side. It inspires you, doesn't it, to step up and take action because you are going to get through it. So absolutely with you on that. Love it. Elevated people, number one. Tick.
Yes, absolutely. It's all in the mindset. Just to tell a little bit about my history, I've had two husbands. The second husband is doing very well. We've been together for 22 years. We've grown in every way that we can grow as a couple. We were having better sex than we've ever had. We've grown financially together. We've grown with our purpose and our mission and everything. And that's because I'm a personal growth mentor. So if I would, I mean, I'm not saying that it guarantees me a lifetime with this man, because I don't believe that you can say this is the love of my life. I believe you say this is the love of my moment, because
Ah,
yeah, my husband is the love of my moment. And that's why we've lasted for 22 years, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to transform and change and what you're going to need. You don't know if you're going to be able to stay together and be happy. I don't want to, like, I've learned how to be internally grounded, centered, loving, peaceful, joyful by myself. And I don't want to be in a misery, toxic situation. So if we don't find a way to keep up leveling so that we're actually feeding each other and raising and vibrating in a positive way, I prefer to be alone.
so interesting. I mean, I though when you say that, my partner now, does that not bring up any feelings of insecurity for either of you? Like, because I can feel that, I know a lot of my listeners will be thinking, yeah, but people want to say, oh, I love you, you're the love of my life, we'll be together, let's make plans. How does that feel then if you're saying, well, right now this is working for me? Because I can hear a lot of my listeners saying, yeah, but doesn't that make them feel insecure?
That's exactly a good question. When you love yourself, you don't feel insecure. Let me tell you why. There's only one Mahima that exists on the whole of planet Earth. There is no other Mahima that can exist other than me out of 8 billion people, right? So I have nothing to be concerned about. If my husband is into me and I'm into him, then we'll figure it out and we'll find the next wave. We'll go through our pain, we'll go through, and we'll find each other again, right? Because we appreciate that authentic, unique, what nobody, like no one else can do, Mahima, right? So that gives me an unshakable confidence, right? He's either into Mahima flavor or he's not. Okay. And if he's not, there is nothing much I can do about it, right? And he could have been into the Mahima flavor, but fallen out of it for whatever reason. There's nothing I can do about that either, right? So I believe in really loving and respecting yourself so that the people that you say yes to, first of all, I'm building a relationship with my husband that regardless of whether we'll be man or woman, we will be conscious and loving and generous to each other until we die. That is the foundation of our relationship. So our relationship isn't based on you're not going to be my wife, and so I'm going to, it's going to be a problem, right? We need to like each other. We need to, what is best for you? Yes, what is best for me? If being together is the best thing for both of us, then that's what we need to be. If
Yeah.
not being together is the best for both of us, then that's what we need to be. But we're going to love each other. We're going to respect each other. As long as I'm in this body, I have pledged that to him and he has pledged it to me. And he has shown that to me again and again and again. So our commitment to love is bigger than the ego mind, right? Because I do have these terms. I talk about ego mind, which is a small part of who we are. And then I talk about essence, soul, spirit, which is our bigger self, right? And in that place of integrity, I think you can say to someone, look, I promise to be respectful to you and make sure that you stay happy. And if that means me, great. If not, that's also fine, right? So I hope that's answered everyone's question. Nobody can do you. That is something that is unique and precious. So when relationships don't work, it's usually because of some messiness that we haven't dealt with, right? It's our own stories. Now, of course, we could just have made the wrong decision, right? We because we weren't in an elevated place when we met someone, right? And so we compromised and got into a toxic situation. And if you look at it from the beginning, it was already that way. That could happen, right? But most of what I want to say about a relationship being successful it depends on how you feel in yourself. With my first husband, I was miserable. I was 20 kilos less than I am now. Beautiful. I was free, young, energetic. We had money. We could do anything. I was miserable. I hated myself. I criticized and judged myself. I compared myself with others. I felt lost because I didn't really know what I was doing with my life. And so none of the things he was trying to give me could help me. Does that make sense, Sarah? Because
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
was empty. The relationship with myself sucked. So
Yeah.
once
I
I
mean,
started working on elevating that relationship, I drew in a completely different type of partner,
yeah.
right?
I mean, I often talk about you can't depend on someone else to fill the gaps in you. So actually, when you're going through a breakup, quite often, yeah, there's so many things you're thinking. Well, I'm not good at this, or I'm weak in this area, so I'm going to find someone who can help me with that. I mean, I did that as soon as I came out of my marriage. I found a guy that lived just down the road from me because Mahima, it was funny, and we had 2 years of a great relationship, and we're still good friends now. And he's an amazing guy. But at the end, when we were splitting up, and it was time, it's definitely time. It was going to be painful, but it was time for us to go our separate ways. The first thing that I said about, we sat down to have that chat about, right, okay, think this has kind of reached the end of the road. And the first thing I said was, but what am I going to do when my son is with his dad? And he looked at me and he said, Sorry, that is not the reason to stay with me. And I'm like, yeah, but it kind of has been for a while, because what do I do with my time? So again, I was looking for him to come in and save me in those moments so that I didn't have to face that. But actually, that was one of the biggest things. As soon as I learned to cope without my son being with me, life took on a different purpose because I was in charge. I was empowered. I didn't need to rely on someone to get me through those moments. I could dial down those negative emotions myself. I was back in the driving seat. So absolutely with you on that, Mahima. Yeah.
I love that so much. Thanks for sharing that story. It gave me, yeah, goosebumps because it's being able to admit. I on my campus I call it own your shit. I know it sounds a little intense
Love
for
it.
some people that are like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, but there's no way to grow if we're not able to self-reflect, right? And that means shifting out of the victim mindset of they did it to me. He did it to me. He cheated. He lied. He did. Yeah, like that's not going to make us fall in love with ourselves, right? What we need to do is reflect on what's happening inside of us. Yes, look back on how it all started. Where were you mentally, emotionally, spiritually when this relationship began? And if you can see that you were a little messy, then you can also understand what maybe brought in that particular relationship. Yeah. I happened to be I was in the best space I've ever been in when I met my second husband. I was feeling so good that I was actually concerned about getting into relationship with him because I was like, I've never felt so confident in my whole freaking life. I'd been divorced from the second husband. It was already like 5, 6 years, 6 years that I was single, dating a lot of guys, whatever. I found my purpose of sharing meditation and helping people to feel joyful and powerful. I was traveling all over Europe doing these meditation sessions, and I was at the prime of joy, peace, and happiness. And boom, he came in. But he came in manifested by me. Yeah, so after being single for 6 years, I knew exactly what I wanted. And I listened to my soul and my heart, and I wrote down my non negotiables, which can be a very helpful thing to do while you're in this process that you're in right now, to take the learnings and say, I never want to repeat this. Like, I'm done. Like, I've got this lesson, it's done, right?
Yes, I say
Mm-hmm.
that because you're so spot on. I love that because I think that if we don't bank the lessons, life has a funny way of teaching us the same lesson over and over and over again until you go, I get it. I'm not going to do that again. I think it works
Exactly.
super important with dating. I'm with you on that one.
So take this moment while you're in it's a rebirth period, right? Something is dying, and we need to be very kind and gentle to ourselves, right? We need to take our inner child and embrace all of those feelings of whatever feelings you have, whether it's a feeling of abandonment or sadness or whatever it is, but not let it overwhelm you, because it's a great opportunity to up level. When we let go of what no longer serves us, we're actually free to receive something even more beautiful and more meaningful. That's the magic that I support my clients to create all the time in the work that we do. So they'll come in holding on to toxic relationships, some of them relationships that are not super toxic, but something has to definitely change, or they need to separate, right?
Yeah.
And through this work of self-love, you start to be able to respect. I call it trust, love, honor, and respect yourself. Trust, love, honor, and respect yourself. I trust myself. I love myself. I honor myself. I respect myself, right? And in this, you start to write things down. What you need, because you know you better than anyone else. Yes, you know you better than anyone. So, for example, in my case, I decided I needed a conscious man, because I'm a personal growth mentor already with 27. I knew that was going to be my life path. So before that, I date guys that weren't into meditation, weren't into personal growth, I wasn't honoring myself. Like I was teaching that. Why would I date a guy who doesn't even know anything about that? Right? And laughs at me and thinks, oh yeah, you do your meditation stuff. I don't need that. Like, no, siree. This is important work, and I need someone who's going to honor that work with me. So that was my first non-negotiable, Sara, was he needs to be on the same trip as me, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. We need to share the same point of view when it comes to working on ourselves. So I wrote that down, non-negotiable. Okay. I dated guys with kids. I was young. I didn't want to be part of a family. I felt like I want to create my family with my guy. So I wanted him to not have children, no ex-wife, no children. I just wanted him to be free to create with me. So I wrote that down. Okay. So I took all of the past experiences and things that I'd found like this doesn't really serve me, and I made this non-negotiable, right? And there's a whole bunch of things I can tell you, 5 things. You don't need 20 things. They just need to be 5 of the core things. Literally, I started dating and respecting those things. And when guys came along that weren't into my spiritual thing, even if they were lovely and stuff, I'd just be like, lovely, not for me, right? When guys came along with kids, and I'd just be like, that's lovely, nice, thank you. I was so clear. And then boom, I manifested this guy. And we've been together for 22 years. So there's something in clarity is prosperity. Clarity is prosperity. Yeah.
Clarity is prosperity. I think clarity is so key because it gives you power. If you have clarity in what you want, you can make better informed decisions. Absolutely. And I think, well, it's about getting your boundaries. And I do an exercise with my clients called Your Ideal Partner, where they have up to 5 non-negotiables. Like I call them 5 must not haves. And if they come up, you deploy your parachute and you exit the building immediately. No second chances. No, maybe I can change him. Maybe I can work on this. Maybe I'll be okay with that. Maybe for him, I could compromise. No, it's just like you say, a non-negotiable, and you're out. So I absolutely.
Oh my God, Sara, you're giving me goosebumps. It's this kind of conviction that women need to have because of our insecurities. We do start compromising again on things that we know we shouldn't be compromising on. So I just love that you like deploy the parachute immediately, no more questions asked, get the hell out of there. I absolutely do believe in that, right?
Yeah.
And it's called self-love. It's called loving yourself to know I've been down that path. I don't need to revisit it. Been there.
Yeah, because you know how it's going to end, right? You know what's going to happen. So
Exactly.
don't sign yourself up for another series of that pain. Let's jump on. Like I love what you said about find the next wave. Let's redefine. Let's get that clarity, and let's jump on the next wave, but in a more positive, focused direction.
Okay, so yes, absolutely, Sara. So here's the hack for if you're in a lot of let's say pain right now. Let's just call it pain. Okay, my teacher taught me something that really turned everything on its head for me, right? And it's the concept that we are love. So I put it in the terms of I am love. Love is the DNA of your soul. Love is the DNA of your soul. So the physical body has a DNA, right? But we're not just the physical body. We are, you can call, the body is a container for something. And I'm not attached to what you call that something, right? Something that came into this world with nothing and something that's going to leave this world with nothing. Is it your essence? Is it your inner power? What is it, right? But so the body is the container for that spirit. Yeah. And so as we start to understand that that soul part of us is love, we can stop, the pain stops immediately. Because the pain comes from a lack of love. Yeah. You didn't get the love that you wanted, but you're also not getting the love from yourself because you're beating yourself up about having been in the story, about not having, whatever the story is. Once love is present, pain disappears. It's an amazing phenomena. And so I would love you to try to do some guided meditations that allow you to experience the DNA of your soul. We can talk about it, but it's not a mental thing. It's beyond the mind, right? The mind has only so much capacity. But who we are, and you guys know this because intuition, emotional connection has nothing to do with the mind, right? And I can share more about this, what I call my self-love system, so that you can start to understand more about this, right? But if you understand that I am love, love comes from within my own heart, then you can rest there and fill up your tank. And then you're not going out in the world with a begging bowl, which is what most of us are doing. Love me, love me. And we're doing this with our parents. We're doing it with our work colleagues. We're doing it with our own children. We're doing it, yeah, like looking for that validation. Somebody tell me I'm amazing. Somebody respect me. Somebody say you're awesome, right? And the problem is, at least for me, I can just talk about my experience, that it didn't work until I got that self-respect, until I got that boom, 1 in 8 billion. That's me, right? Mahima, but that's still just my body. Yeah, but there is something else beyond the body, which is connecting me 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days to the year. It's called oneness consciousness. Yeah, when you connect to yourself in a bigger way. And when you can rest there, you get everything you need. And now you go in the world and people start coming to you, giving you that recognition that you were looking for because it came first from inside. So I know that
true.
yeah.
So true. I mean, I'm with you on that, and I know, for me, it's only when I've stepped into my purpose and became, turning what was a real pain, like you said before, into my superpower, like then using that and my own pain and experience to help others, like I guess you have too. I think then you start thinking you have a purpose, you have a reason, you are like the person, you're enough as you are, and that's it. You don't need that external validation. I do think that the concept of self-love, sometimes though, when you're in a low place, can feel a little bit self-obsessed, a little bit egotistical, and I don't know whether it's just us Brits, but find it just a little bit uncomfortable to say, I love myself. So for people listening who are a little bit, I would love to achieve that feeling, to open up those opportunities. How do we get ourselves around that obstacle of, is it selfish, is it self-obsessed to start saying I love myself?
Listen, going back to, you have to be with yourself there, and nobody's going to save you, right? Like if you drive yourself to the bone, like because you overgive, when you have nothing to give, you keep on going, you break down mentally, emotionally, you burn out physically, no one's going to stop you. There's nobody, oh my God, please stop doing that, you're going to burn out. stop, I'll do it, you're going to burn out. No one's going to be there to help you to stay sane. Okay, so that's your job. It's your job to stay powerful, to stay grounded, to stay vibrant. It's your life. Yes. So I think when you understand that, that is when self-love doesn't become a concept of selfishness. It becomes a concept of empowerment, and especially for women, right? Especially for women. We have no boundaries. We don't listen. We don't listen. Even though we say we're great listeners, the body's saying stop. The emotions are trying to tell us something's wrong, something's wrong. Please eject, eject, but we keep on going, right? So no, I think self-love is the beginning of a new, it's the future. Yeah, the past was this, concept of you're arrogant if you love yourself. Look at that arrogant woman. She thinks so much of herself. That's a very narrow perspective of self-love. This is about dignity. This is about grace. This is about
Yeah.
living your life with elegance, ease, and beauty. And so you need to take care of yourself if that's something that's important to you. If you want to wake up and say, I'm so grateful to be in this body. I'm so grateful to have this beautiful day. I'm grateful for the food I have, the people around me. This is beautiful. This is what I'm meant to feel while I live out my days. Who knows how many they are, in this body on planet Earth. So you deserve that. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve peace in your life. And no one's going to give it to you. You need to take it. You need to create it. So that's what I've discovered. Yeah, and trust me, I tell you, I've been swooning and hoping for a knight in shining armor to save me. That even my beautiful husband, as wonderful as he is, he did not save me. There were moments in this marriage where I had to wake the fuck up and ask myself, Mahima, are you really satisfied with what's going on here? Yeah, and the answer was no. No, I'm not, right? So let me tell you a moment. My 40th birthday, I'd become financially dependent on my husband, Sara, because, I was doing my spiritual stuff, and I always used to say, I don't care about money. I don't care about money. I care about inner peace, right? So I used to use all of this limiting language, which I needed to drop it like it's hot, right? I'd manifested this great life, so everything came quite easily to me. And of course, a beautiful husband who's happy to take care of me. But then there was a moment where I started to feel that I'm not really owning my power. I felt weak, I felt dependent, and I didn't even feel certain if I had the independence, would I still be with this man? And that concerned me. That concerned because I was like, I have let myself go. I've allowed myself to become something that I don't love. I'm not appreciating this Mahima right now, right? And I need to become independent, and I need to get my shit together. And I literally had to kind of say to him, look, things are changing. I'm not going to be taking care of the household and doing all of this shit anymore. Okay, I'm going to write my international best-selling book. I'm going to start my new website. And I changed my life like this. And my husband had to change with me. He was shocked because from one day having a doting wife taking care of all the stuff, I turned everything on its head and said, I have to take care of myself now. And I started my company that, on a bigger way. I've always been doing it, but I started on a bigger way, and I've been able to build a 7-figure business. Well, over the years, we've created multiple 7 figures. So I could say 8-figure business. And, it needed me to own that my brilliance wasn't shining. I was playing a small game, standing behind my husband and letting him take care of me. But I hadn't got my shine on. I hadn't got my brilliance out. I hadn't, even scratched the surface of what was inside of me. So that's what I want the ladies in your situation that you are in right now to think about. What is inside of you that you still need the world to see? Let that give you a spark of hope, right? There's something to bring forth. We're not just defined by our relationships. You can have a beautiful relationship, but if you are lost within that relationship, you remain lost anyway. So this is an opportunity not only to fall madly, deeply, and passionately in love with yourself, but also to find your true purpose. What is your gift? What is the thing that's unique to you?
Yeah.
My gift is facilitating transformation. My husband leaves me, I still have that gift. My
Yeah.
company goes bankrupt, I still have that gift, right? What is your gift? What is your thing? What's your mastery? You need to find out what that is. And that's what we help people do on our campus.
Wow. I mean, everything you're saying is resonating. And for those of you who are listening, I encourage you jump on YouTube and check out Mahima, because she's radiating such a strength and a beautiful energy. So do check her out. You look fabulous, Mahima. And it just comes from your soul. We can see that. I can see that very, very clearly. So, I mean, I could talk to you for weeks. This is fascinating. Where can people go to find out more about you and your work, Mahima?
Well, listen, I want to offer a free gift because I believe in, that we need to get straight into action. So if anyone is feeling touched by anything I've said, I want to offer my 21-day, it's actually a free membership to our tribe. And in that free membership, you're going to get 3 juicy, sexy, fun things. The first one is my international best-selling book, which is going to have the inner peace formula, right? So it's 3 points that are going to give you access to, what I call inner peace, right? And the first one is to ask the question, who am I? Yeah, ask the question, but not just who am I, like, what's my name? What's my occupation? It's also, who am I spiritually, emotionally, mentally, right? The other one is unconditional love. To love yourself regardless of however you're showing up. Love yourself in your power, love yourself in your rebirth, love yourself in your tears, love yourself in your brilliance, right? And the third one is to learn how to be still and to be quiet so that you can actually just be and feel confident in the power of the now. So that is something you're going to get from the book. It's very entertaining. People tell me they can't put it down once they start reading it. It's an easy book. It's not one of those tough spiritual books that you read and you're like, I don't know what they're saying. I need to read this again, right?
Yeah.
Simple wisdom that's going to just fill you up and start making you feel better immediately. And then I'm also going to give you my 7 days reprogram your mind, which is going to help you to slowly start sitting and being quiet. You only have to do 5 minutes of meditation a day, and I'll do a 10-minute, inspirational talk with you for 10 minutes, which allows you to have a new perspective on who you are, what you're feeling, and what's happening around you. And then you meditate for 5 minutes. So it's very easy to get something going that's not just negativity, right? So we shift and spend those 15 minutes of just pouring something sacred and expanding into your system. And then after you've done the 7 days meditation challenge, then you can start the 21-day meditation challenge, which is 15 minutes a day of just, silence and me guiding you to think of topics like trust, like love, like commitment, and all these different topics. We choose every day a different topic. And so it's going to empower you from the inside out. So that's my 21-day meditation challenge. All this is free. All you have to do is click the link that's with this beautiful podcast and go ahead and get that free gift and start transforming your life, right? And if you want to check me out on Instagram, just go to Mahima Mindset. Yeah, Mahima Mindset, and Mahima, Mahima Mindset, and that's my Instagram handle. And I just hope that you will get the empowerment that you need as rapidly as possible, because you deserve it. Your life is precious, and so give yourself the gift of spending a little bit of time thinking of something else other than the pain and the suffering, right? Like, let's just turn that attention for a while, and this will go a long way in your healing process. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What an incredible free gift. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to put that link, guys, in the show notes. So do check that out. One final question, Mahima, because that I ask all my guests. My podcast is called Heartbreak to Happiness. And I think it's really important to know what happiness is for you so that you can tap into it along the way, even if you're not quite through your breakup or whatever that difficult situation is for you. So what is happiness for you, Mahima?
Happiness is living in the power of the now, not being busy with what has happened, not being afraid of what will happen, being here now, feeling grounded, feeling peaceful, feeling powerful. Happiness is being able to shift my focus from things that don't serve me, drama, emotional drama, unnecessary taking things personally, or seeing things in a distorted way, to being able to shift to gratitude. Yes, gratitude for what really matters, which is I'm alive, I'm freaking healthy, I have everything a human being could possibly need, and 10 million times more. And so let me just be of service. Let me not, focus just me. Let me just focus on how can I contribute to making this world a better place. So happiness for me is serving. It's
Oh,
supporting others, but from a place of love and groundedness myself, of course, right?
well, you've definitely been helping lots of people today with this podcast, and I'm very grateful to you for being here. And thank you, Mahima, for being such a fabulous guest.
Thank you, Sara. Keep doing this great work. People need your beautiful work. And so I'm just honored I could just contribute a little tiny speck in the game that you're playing, the big game that you're playing in this world. I love to see empowered women. You're awesome. Keep rocking it, Sara. I love it.
Oh, I'm going to be cheering you all the way, Mahima, too. So thank you for joining me.
So much love. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Love.
That's it for today's episode. Do head on over to Instagram, Mahima Mindset, to find out more about Mahima and her guided meditations, and all the free gifts that she was offering as well will be in the show notes. So click on that link, and I look forward to you joining me on my next episode.
That's it for today's episode of Heartbreak to Happiness. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to win a free ticket to Sara's virtual Heartbreak to Happiness retreat. This is a transformative combination of live webinars with Sara herself, coupled with her empowering online video program designed to help you cope better with your breakup and start feeling happy again. For more details, head on over to heartbreaktohappinesspodcast.com, where you can also get a copy of Sara's gift. Thank you, and join us again on the next episode for another dose of Heartbreak to Happiness.